Hey everybody, how's it going? We're here with a timeless reading. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups is a happy thing to see. Okay, I'm also seeing Justice as well. This happiness that you're feeling right now, or this joy, it feels like it's well deserved. What this can mean too is that you could have gotten an outcome that you feel really happy with, or you could feel like you got results that are what you wanted. It can mean too that if you've been going through anything, if you've been going through something legally, it can mean that you feel very happy with the results that you end up getting, or like the judgment call that's made essentially. Or if you've been going through some type of battle, again, you can feel like if you were on a side where you were like, I hope that things end up being fair, or I hope that things end up being right, like that is what ends up happening. So basically Justice is on your side, essentially seeing this. This is something that you will feel very, very happy with the way that this ends up coming out. So if you're involved in something like that, it can be happening. What this can mean too is that if you've been dealing with something within a relationship, it can mean, again, that you get some type of result or something happens, or there's sort of this judgment call that's made that you're like, this is what I was hoping for. It can be very much that type of thing. This is going to feel good just from a heart space that you would feel. What this can also mean too, if you don't have something like that going on, it can mean that you're making choices that are reflective of basically you following your intuition, or it can be following like the signs that you get, listening to where you feel like you're being guided as far as stuff that you're receiving. It can be those types of things that end up happening where you feel like this is a moment where you feel like the universe is supporting you, and it feels like things really work out in your favor, especially if you could have possibly looked at something and been like, this may not work out for me, or sometimes we don't always get what we see as being like a fair outcome, but this is a time when you actually do get that. So it will feel very rewarding in that sense, and it will feel like all is right in that moment, and that can be something that instills a lot of hope within you to feel this. And it can be a moment of celebration for you, or a moment of deep joy that you feel. It can very much be that. And you can also feel quite connected too. You could have also followed some type of guidance that you felt like, this is the way that I should be doing things, and then you did things in that way, and then it ends up working out for you. It can very much be something like that ends up happening. Yes, okay. Some of you, there's a decision that is getting closer and closer to you. This Two of Swords, you see something that's at a distance, and what it feels like is, if there was something that you were trying to figure out, a conclusion that you were trying to come to, an answer that you were waiting for, something like that, I'm seeing it step closer and closer to you, where it's almost in front of you. So again, if there's been something that you've been trying to figure out, didn't know what was going to happen, it feels like there's a little bit of an unknown here of, is it going to go this way, is it going to go that way, or what's really going on, that type of thing, where it could feel like you're waiting for that moment of clarity. I'm seeing it come very close to you, where it's almost arrived if it has not arrived already. So very, very near to you in that way. This feels too like it's going to there will be an opportunity or a cycle, however you want to label it, that will be connected with this. Feels like it's going to indicate next steps that will be taken, or what will be happening, or a chapter that's going to be opening. Feels like it's related to that. And what you'll next be involved in. Wow. A time of great transformation in your life. Feels like there's an evolution that's happening for you psychologically and emotionally. This can also feel too like a time when there's a lot of insight that you're receiving. Having King of Cups and having Death can be you going through something where it's really important that you remain steady through that. It's really important that you keep like cleansing your energy or grounding your energy, and you make sure that you're like not taking on stuff that's not yours, those types of things. Because it feels like a time of great change within your life. Having the Death card here, this can mean that because of what's happening, that things are going to shift in a big way for you within your life, or your life is going to start looking very different than it had been before. And this also is to a sign of you progressing. It's a sign of you evolving. It's a sign of there being some type of catalyst or something that's emerging from a seed that had been there. It's like that type of thing that's happening within your life. And it can be a time too, because we have Scorpio here. There can be stuff that's being released, stuff that's being let go of, stuff that's being shed, especially like anything that you don't need for this. You have to take it out of the backpack, metaphorically speaking, so you can continue the journey and make room for what you need to pack in there for this part of the journey. It's like those types of things that are happening. You can feel too like you're going into a bit of an unknown situation as well. As this Death card, it looks like it's nighttime and sort of staring into sort of a possibility of where you could be going, but because the card is very dark, it's sort of hard to make out what's going on. So there can be some things that you kind of know this is where I'm looking right now, but I can only see pretty close what's in front of me, and I can't really see anything beyond that. And that's sort of what this feels like as far as where things are heading. So you can know what you're looking at in a way that's very near to you, but as far as what's going on further than that, it can be something that the light has not hit yet, meaning you're not aware of that yet, or you don't know that consciously yet. I do get a sense of you being ready for this though. Yeah, some of you're receiving a message and it's something that you're going to feel very, very happy about. This feels too like making moves that are based off of the signs that you're picking up on, synchronicities that you're witnessing, just stuff that you're noticing around you, however it is that your guides communicate with you. It can be a time when you feel that really strong around you, that presence around you of your team telling you sort of like where to go when you're asking for guidance. Like, hey, I'm needing some insight here, and just following that and feeling really in tune with that too. I will say with the Death card, it can be part of the shift that's happening for you right now. You are evolving, yes. That doesn't mean that it's gonna always feel easy though. There can be stuff that you're addressing, there can be fears that you are addressing, stuff that's gonna be coming up, but only so you can work through those things. But at times it can be some challenging things that you end up confronting. That can definitely be part of this as well, like trying to remain balanced and have some type of anchor while you're going through a time that can feel like, I don't really know where I'm going. I'm figuring it out. I have to feel it out. I can only see this far in front of me. I don't know what happens after that. And you sort of have to play it like that. So I wonder too if you're going through a process right now where you can't see in the distance. You can only see like what's pretty much directly in front of you. And so just do it in the present moment. Like, I can't really be making assumptions based off of what's going to happen a lot later down the line within this process. I have to just do things based off of what's going on right now. And it feels like this is something that's sort of forcing you to be more present, because you're not being given any more information than it feels like what's directly in front of you. And that's also part of this too. It feels like having to trust as well the guidance that you're receiving, and that being something that is coming into play here. This is interesting. So we have Knight of Cups. You making moves based off of what you are feeling, what you are sensing, what am I receiving, what is the guidance that I'm receiving, what is my intuition telling me, doing my best to make moves based off of that when I'm really connected and I'm really touching base and I'm clearing out everything else, and then making sure that what I'm doing is aligned with that I'm connecting with. Seven of Swords, whether it be yourself or somebody outside of you, it can be thoughts of doubt, it can be somebody that is sort of getting in your way, it can be you listening to something that isn't guidance, that is connected with a sense of truth and something that's going to take you where you want it to take you. It can even be like self-sabotaging, it can be anything that will get in the way of you listening and tuning in. Fear thoughts can be a part of that, anxious thoughts, you saying like, I'm not going to be able to do that even though you haven't even tried to do it and see how it goes. Just anything that would really hold you back. With this Knight of Cups, I get you in this space of like being very receptive. In this Knight of Cups card, there's a little cup or like a little bowl on the person's head, and it feels like your third eye and your crown being receptive to energy that you're receiving. And this can be insights, it can be wisdom, just stuff that you are opening yourself to receive, especially from your team, because this is feeling like a really spiritual process that you're within right now, or really involved with a lot of energetics. And then the Seven of Swords is, it's basically like thoughts or communication, anything up here that would be sort of entering into your space, but stuff that would take you backwards. As this card is facing forward, this feels like anything that would be getting in the way, that would not be aligned with like a higher divine truth in whatever shape or form it comes in, whether it's like generated from just like thoughts that you're connecting with, that it's not your energy, it can be like a projection that you're taking on, whatever this is. It can be someone around you speaking directly to you. It feels like this is stuff that it feels like thought forms that would sort of come to you and potentially take you backwards. And this feels like needing to feel that sense of intuition in that clear, pure space, and keep moving through that and not having this take you back. Because see how this is pointed in that direction? It feels like this is something that would be regressive, and this is something that would be progressive. And this can be like, I need to follow my heart rather than these distorted thoughts that are coming through, and I need to know that is correct and to move in that direction. And to have 10 of Cups above it, I wonder too if you're getting this insight that is connected with like a very high divine truth, like this is the path that I'm meant to be walking upon, like this is the way, this is the right way for me to be doing things for myself. This is aligned. And Seven of Swords feels like anything that would be sabotaging that. And this can be like long-term fulfillment, your joy, your happiness, feeling peace within your life, feeling like stuff is the way that you want it to be, feeling a sense of connection. All of those things that allow you to feel at peace within your life, or that like things will be okay, the support, being open to the support that you receive, like knowing that you're not alone, those types of things. feels very much like there is a higher frequency of energy that you are receptive to right now, that you are connecting with. And it feels like it's going to help you override anything that is not aligned with that like frequency of truth for you, of wisdom, of guidance, of anything that would get in the way, especially any like more like lower vibrational thoughts that would get in the way of you listening to your soul, of you listening to your intuition. And having justice above Seven of Swords feels like this energy, like this distorted energy, or this thing that would take you backwards. It feels like that's being wiped out in some way. And I wonder too if this can be something collectively that's happening, where there can be we're following the heart rather than following the mind from not that there's anything wrong with the mind, but not the mind from an ego-based way that is connected with fear, in a way that's connected with a distortion, connected with survival, like things that take us out of spirit and into more of an animalistic nature, and something that will end up being regressive. And none of those things are regressive on their own. However, it feels like there's been something that's going on with a more shadow energy. That when I say shadow, it doesn't mean bad. It just means that there's not a consciousness that it's been connected with yet at this point. And what can be happening is justice being over top of it. Is if there's anything that's regressive, justice being on top can be a ruler or a ruling that ends up happening that is aligned with balance, that is aligned with the right way of things, that is aligned with sort of the forward movement and progression that would be happening. And this can be a movement that is a movement of joy. It can be a movement of connection. It can be a movement of the soul, a movement of the heart that's happening. And it feels very much like it's going to override a sense of darkness. It feels like that's what's happening here, that something is being balanced out. And it feels like something very, very important that's being balanced out. And it also feels for some of you like there's a decision that's going to be made that is connected with this, that is going to be leading to a new, I'm hearing a next cycle. Having justice above Seven of Swords shows that the distorted energy is not going to be the one that ends up prevailing. Or you can say like an ignorant energy is not going to be the one that ends up prevailing. I'm saying ignorant because of seeing Two of Swords here, and this can be something where there's not that like clear thought yet with the Two of Swords of I haven't gotten to that ultimate truth relative to what I'm going through, or I haven't had that breakthrough, or that clarity hasn't come yet. Two of Swords is still going to be that something hasn't totally aligned, and that's why it's sort of split in that way. And it feels like there's some type of dance that's being done so something can come back to not being double vision anymore, that it's going to be just like a clear, like single-minded focus that will be happening, and that is going to be the next chapter that begins. Feels like there's some type of responsibility to sort of work with what's coming up energetically and find your way through that. And what this means too is with Seven of Wands, it can be you knowing what to do, you knowing what's in your heart, you knowing the steps that you want to take, and not allowing anything to deter you from doing that, of you still doing your thing, of you still showing up, of you just figuring it out, even though the conditions can be a bit stressful or a bit chaotic at times. Even when you can feel stuck, like this feels like at times feeling like there's a sense of oppression. To have Seven of Swords and to have Seven of Wands and then Eight of Swords that sort of came out in between these. Seven of Swords can be something that almost wants to like overpower you making a move that's based off of this cleared heart chakra space. So cleared heart chakra space, you trying to move, you can feel like something's attempting to sort of like push you backwards and like turn you around the other way. And having to go through this, which I'm seeing something that you're capable of moving through, of working through, but it can be something that at times feels oppressive. It can be something that at times you question, like, is this something that we can move through? Is this something that I can possibly sort of do what I'm trying to do, the original thought here, and actually accomplish that during a time when in the middle of this, it feels like a difficult dance that's being done. It feels like I'm still showing up and doing my thing, but I'm also questioning the effectiveness of that, something like this. But what I'm seeing is that you're going to be moving forward. So even though there can be this stuck feeling in the middle, seeing Six of Swords shows that there will still be a progression and you're still going to be moving forward. And also, too, that things are going to get easier as well. But yeah, I feel, too, collectively, like, stuff is going on individually, stuff is going on a micro level. On a macro scale, it feels like there's something that's going on collectively within the heart space that's taking place with King of Cups and the Death card, where there's some type of like revamping or even a just clearing out that's happening, or we're now collectively rising up into the heart space where we had, it's like if going up within the chakras, like the root is activated and then sacral is activated, and then we've been in the solar plexus, and it feels like collectively moving into the heart space now, and that's something that's happening. This can be also connected with Pluto's movement as well. And allowing the transformation to happen. Feel a sense of confidence. Both of these things being gained. It feels like believing in oneself, trusting in one's vision, and moving that way with, if this is this thing that connects for me, that's what I'm going to be doing. And also, too, what can be happening collectively as well is that there can be sort of a force or a movement that's happening currently where before decisions were being made for other reasons, like choices that you were making within your life even, and now can be a time where you see people do things because that's where they feel like their heart is calling them. And that can also be something that you're doing too, you know? It can be something where before fear could have been holding you back, or it can be something that you're still working through right now. And your heart space being so activated right now that is totally going to outshine and even bring awareness and consciousness and light to stuff that could have potentially deterred you before. But because of there being such a strong force within your heart space, it feels like that's going to be the thing that lights up everything else and brings this sense of restoration, of balance with the movements and the decisions that are being made. And you can feel like that's happening within your life as an individual, and this can also be something that you see reflected collectively as well. I do see again this sort of battle here between, am I going to like allow my own shadow even to win, or win meaning it looks like there's are we going this way or are we going that way? And it feels very much like your heart is saying this is the thing to do, and then you can have fear saying this is the thing to do, and having to choose like which one of those things am I going to be motivated by here, like what's going to be the choice that I make based off of that in the middle. So it feels like the recognition, like there's this side and there's that side of things. in the middle feels like that time when the decision is going to be made, or we're getting closer to that, and then what happens at the end is the choice is made, and then what happens, what that means then ends up sort of coming into play, and that's what I'm seeing is going on. And it does feel like this is going to be I'm really going to follow the lead of my heart here, and I know what that truth is when I like hear it speaking to me, when I'm attuned to it. I'm going to cleanse anything that's not aligned with that, and then I'm going to move in the direction that I feel is the way to go here. What I'm seeing though with the death card means that you can be making a very brave choice here, a very brave decision for your life here. You can be doing something where you don't know where exactly this is going to lead. Like, where is this going to take me? What's going to be happening? Because I'm seeing again that if you make this choice at the end of this that is about going where your heart is calling you in the direction of, it feels like you're going to be stepping into something that it feels like there's a lot of unknown to moving in that direction. And you can know that this is going to be a really big change for you, and you can also feel too like you can only see what's like directly in front of you, and you can't see past that. So even with that, like, I don't have a sense of logical reassurance of where this is going. When I'm connected with my guidance, when I'm connected with my soul, I know that this is the right way, and so it's gonna be okay. It'll be like that type of thing. I will have the support that I need. I'm not alone. Like, those types of things that you know that will enable you to be connected within the heart space, and trust yourself, and trust your path, and trust your heart, and then make a decision in favor of that. And that's very much what's happening here. But it does feel like there's going to be a big shift that will be happening in your life because of this. However, it's something where it feels like you are choosing the unknown, which feels like it can very much lead you in the direction of where you are meant to be, versus staying within something that's not really feeling like the right place for you, but out of fear just staying there. This feels like I'm going to embrace the unknown, or embrace this really big shift, transition, or change within my life, because I know staying here or going backwards, that's not the place to be. And I'm tuned in enough to know that. And so this is like the only way forward. It feels very much like that. Even though it can be something that feels, maybe it feels intimidating, maybe it feels like I don't like not knowing what's gonna happen like this far down the line. Because I feel again like you know what's in your heart, and you know the wisdom that you've been receiving, you know what the guidance is, what your intuition has been telling you. But it can, at the same time, you really have to trust yourself to make this choice, and not hold yourself back. Because this can even be having 10 of cups and having 7 of swords can be, I'm not going to follow my pursuit of happiness, or I'm not going to listen to my heart because of my shadow coming through and being like, don't do that because of XYZ, you know, fear, anxiety, ignorance, whatever it is. And you can feel like, I'm not going to be happy staying here, I know that, or like this doesn't feel fulfilling to me. But because of all of the anxiety or what this person is telling me, I may make a decision to stay here. It feels very much like that choice between like, do I want to be happy with my life? Or do I want to just stay in something I'm familiar with, that I know I'm not really connected with, that I know is not really resonating with me? Or do I want to move? Do I want to walk a path that does resonate with me? And I feel that within me. And it feels ultimately like that's the choice that's being made. Like, not making choices that are so far into one aspect of your energy that it becomes some type of extreme that doesn't also consider your heart space, that doesn't also consider what your soul is speaking to you. And also how you are being essentially asking yourself to evolve within this lifetime too, because that can be something that we step away from. Like, I don't want to evolve psychologically anymore. I feel comfortable in the feeling uncomfortable here, because I don't have to make that change, or I don't have to get outside of my comfort zone, versus I know that this is going to be uncomfortable, or that I'm going to have to surrender control, but this is really the way that I'm being called. And I know that I'm not being guided here for no reason, and that's really what I'm going to follow. That's what I'm going to give weight to, and that's essentially what's happening with this. It feels too like this can be something with Seven of Wands, that if you are determined to do this, there can be other things coming at you, and having to sort of work through that going on to still do this, to still see this through. And that's the thing that can make it, like, you can know this is going to be difficult if I walk this path, but it feels like the right thing for me, and that's why I want to do it, and not allow that to sort of intimidate you into staying in something stagnant that it feels like already know, like it's not, I'm supposed to keep moving here, like that type of thing. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.